All right, Steve, one of the major changes we're going to see downtown in Bricktown and this whole area of Oklahoma City, and perhaps one of the key things that people will notice more than anything else, are the streetscapes. And because when you're driving and walking, you're like enveloped in that situation, in that circumstance.
Yes, I don't think people quite have a grasp as to how dramatic a change we're going to see downtown or how painful it's going to be.
What do you mean by that?
Well, let's start with the change first. Broadway is an excellent example of a streetscape that's been done this last decade. It's known as Automobile Alley, and it received extensive streetscaping, that's the phrase for it, back in the late 1990s. What you're going to see is we've got brick pavers here at each intersection. It looks like a hubcap. The sidewalks are all nice and neat. You've got vintage style street lamps. You've got street furniture, like the ones right here in front of the old Pubco building. You've also got little historic markers in front of some of the buildings. You've got wayfinding signage, and you've also got the ID signs for Automobile Alley. You'll find that throughout downtown. The streetscapes we've had to date are very basic compared to what's coming our way. While they're still under design, I imagine that we're probably going to see lighting unlike anything we see right now. The lighting that even on the nicer streetscapes you can find in suburban Edmond. I think they're looking at lighting that would be more urban, that would be more unique to downtown. You're also going to see a much higher level of landscaping and lighting and signage. I'm not sure. I've been asking around, and it's hard to come up with another example in another city that's done it to this extent. It's basically the difference between a Buick and a Lexus. It's that different. Urban designers will point out that if you really want to make downtown a 24/7 place to live, work, and play, that you need to bring life back out to the streets. That you've got to make it a neighborhood where people want to be outside, want to be enjoying each other's company, where the community interacts with each other.
And this makes it a little more inviting to do so.
With the landscaping, with the tree cover, with the street furniture, it's all going to be geared toward hang out a little bit. Jeff Speck is a consultant, nationally renowned author who came to town about a year ago and started shaking things up with his own report in downtown Oklahoma City. He noted that we have been ranked as one of the least walkable cities in the country.
He had the walkability survey, right?
Yes. And he is involved in this current planning process as well. So it's all a matter of just trying to get people out walking, to try to get people enjoying their downtown where you don't feel like you've got to drive 2 blocks to get somewhere. Again, it's also going to enhance the community's image. Consider what Maps did for Bricktown. When you consider what the canal did, what the ballpark did, it gave us a heightened self of awareness, just increased our self-esteem, that we took more pride in ourselves. Well, right now downtown, we've got a very, very ugly mix of streetscapes right now. We've got some lighting poles that date back 40 years. We've got no less than 6 or 7 different types of lighting poles downtown right now. We've got aging parking meters. All those, I understand, will be updated. It's just everything is going to be brought up.
So let's talk timeline, Steve. When does it get started? Is it already started? And what's the finish line?
Well, I guess the good news, as we're about to face one-way traffic, so we're going to have to turn, right? The good news, Dave, is this is going to be a 2-way street. There will no longer be one-way streets downtown. And you're going to see this throughout downtown. Over the next 2 years, Robinson Avenue is going to be all torn up. Reno will be all torn up. E.K. Gaylord will be all torn up. It is extensive. We're talking about 36 blocks downtown. And I've been asking designers, city officials, no one knows of a city that has tackled this much of their street infrastructure at once. And it will be a headache for downtown visitors, downtown workers.
Hey, when they change streets from one-way to two-way, how big of a deal is that?
That's huge, and it's actually gonna require a re-education of some. You'd think, well, that's great, everyone's gonna know how to get around and all that, but I imagine that old habits will die hard for some folks.
Sure.
The thinking has just totally changed. It's over the last few years, it's been rather radical turnaround for City Hall, and to their credit, they're reinventing how things are done.
Big changes on the way, probably some headaches between now and then, but that's a good thing. All right, we'll stay with your blog to stay informed on all of this.
Sounds good. One might be forgiven if it seems like the advent of a new highway skirting downtown, reconstruction of streets throughout the central business district, and construction of a new skyscraper all seems like deja vu. After all, just as all of this is happening now with construction of a new Devon Tower, similar massive changes hit downtown Oklahoma City in the late 1960s. It was then that the Interstate 40 Crosstown Expressway was built along the southern edge of downtown, creating a boundary that will disappear when the new alignment is opened in 2012. And as the city prepares to redesign and rebuild streets, one must remember similar work was done in the late 1960s and early 1970s that included the removal of Santa Fe Avenue and the creation of a 6-lane E.K. Gaylord Boulevard. It was also during this time that retail stretch of Main Street literally disappeared as city leaders attempted to create a site suitable for Galleria Shopping Mall. The mall was never built, and part of the site is now about to become home to Devon Energy. 40 years ago, construction crews found plenty of history digging up streets, including evidence of the old streetcar tracks. Whether any such discoveries await workers today remains to be seen. These photos and more can be obtained through Pictopia at News OK.